Hi, my name is Afifah and today I'm going to be talking about a specific subject that is somehow I can relate to. I'm going to be talking about the international curriculum. So, since I lived abroad for 13 years in a foreign country, I have become well adapted to the international curriculum as I have studied in international school for 13 years of my life. What I would like to talk about here is about the system itself and what are its impacts, such as its disadvantages and advantages to the students themselves. The international curriculum is different than a national curriculum. You can say it differs from that of the Indonesian curriculum and education system. Education, as we know it, is an important thing in life, such that it allows us to prosper in life, and without it, individuals are unable to eat. The international curriculum of the British system and the American system does not contrast that much. Formal education starts at a very early age, during 2 years old. The formal education is divided into a number of stages, such that it occurs first from preschool to kindergarten, and then to elementary school, which is from grade 1 to grade 6, and then moving on to middle high school, or also known as junior high school, which is from grade 7, 8 and 9, and high school senior year, which is grade 10, 11, and 12. What's different is that during elementary school, teachers there provide students with the ability to talk, such that developing their skills in reading, in writing, and also in language. Now, that the system is that during these years, the exams, the subjects given are still at a broad range, such that there's no specification of majoring in any specific field. Here, during these years, students are taught to develop their skills in public speaking and to convey their ideas clearly using the standard English language. The English language is preeminent within the society, such that global competition is really tough, especially for those who are still in developing countries. It's hard for them to compete with those in the higher system, such as the international system itself. Now, during high school year, what's different is that subjects are more specific. Here, students are forced to pick subjects that they would like to major in during university. Now, the difference in international curriculum is that at the end of the year, or during the senior years, they are supposed to take exams which are called standardized exam. For the American system, there are SATs, ACT, and IELTS. For the British system, it's GCSE, UCAT or BMAT CAT, which are exams for getting into medical school. Now, the hard thing is that these exams are reinforced by the international curriculum to be taken by students during their high school years, during their last 3 years of school before graduating. And so this means that during the high school years, students are supposed to take courses at a university level. Now, the problem that arises from this type of curriculum, from the international curriculum, is that the students are forced to take these exams throughout their 3 years of high school, which means that they are forced to study during their high school years, such that pressure builds up. They feel burdened because they need to set up their future at a very early stage. They need to prepare for their future at a very early stage, which means that they don't have that much leisure time laying around or for having fun with friends. Thus, this brings up a lot of stress, and pressure builds up such that it may lead to substance abuse. Now, the international curriculum is that university seeks for students to have the highest scoring levels in the standardized testing. That's why international curriculum forces students to take these tests very early, because this way these exams will not pile up during the last year, which is the 12th year. The 12th year they are told to only focus on applying for universities, sending out applications to the university that they want to get into, and doing at least 1 or 2 more standardized tests that they haven't done before. Now, I've read a journal about a study on comparing the objective model in curriculum planning between Taiwan and America. In this literature, Tyler and Kerr, which are figures of education, indicated that a curriculum should have an objective such that the objective is to aim to reinforce students' behavior, changing students' behavior through learning, which means that the curriculum should set these individuals straight on how they should behave and how they should and that they should be disciplined. Now, according to CARE, learning experience is one of the most important elements in a curriculum planning, such that the elements within the individuals themselves and the environmental elements is an important factor in changing the behavior of the children. Environmental elements such as the social opportunities that are provided by the curriculum, social relation between the teacher and the student is an important factor too in changing the behavior of the student. Because the aim, according to the authors of the journal, they argued that in the fast-changing business, school must be able to cultivate well-prepared people for the intensive global competition. Thus, the aim of the international curriculum is to create these people as they enforce discipline to their students, such as preparing early for their future. Now, the problem that I've stated earlier could be reduced by applying the objective model that the figures of education, Tyler and Kerr, have mentioned. That the aim of a curriculum should always be about changing the behavior of the students through support, through learning of experience, through expansion of knowledge, and through social relationship between the teachers and the students, where the teachers can act as a safe haven for the students, where if they feel like they're in distress, or when they feel like they're threatened, or when they feel down, they could go to their teacher for guidance and for support. Thus, the curriculum, the teachers are always the ones that act as the messenger of the curriculum of the school, because through the teachers, it's how the individuals or the students are able to develop themselves and to prosper in life. Whatever the curriculum is, the teachers are always the one that acts as a facilitator, not just as a facilitator, but as a friend of the students, in order to make the students feel like they have support around them, and to decrease the pressure that is brought onto by having to have all those exams during those 3 years, during those 3 last years of their school life. And parents, communication between parents and the schools and the school's behalf is also important, because parents should know their children's progress such that they are also able to decrease the pressure brought onto the students from doing all the exams, because parents usually exert their will and desires onto the students, making them do majors or get into certain universities that the parents actually want but the child does not want. Thus, parents should act as a facilitator, as a reinforcement, as a motivation for the students, and not as a place where they exert their desires and wills onto the students. Students will prosper in an international curriculum when the conveyors or the teachers are giving the right message out onto the students. International curriculum has its advantages, but it also has its disadvantages that can lead to negative impacts. Nevertheless, international curriculum makes students more disciplined, make them prepare for future at an earlier stage, and helps them to win in a global competition.